Look around you, black child. Your creation is everywhere. Though painted, distorted, given new names, they bear your prints just the same. So sharpen your eyes, tune your ear, so you know what you see, understand what you hear. You were the first to write, the first to read. Humanity sprang from your black seed. For 110,000 years, you were here alone. And then the Caucasian man was born. Behind the ice, inside the cold, a chill set in this new man's soul. Other minds have been credited with the things they learned from you. Newton, Pythagoras, Kepler, and Galileo too. Sharpen your eyes, tune your ear, so you'll know what you see, understand what you hear. If you've seen most of this series, I'm sure you understand how the creation of two myths, two lies, produced much of the problems we face concerning black-white relations. For in an effort to create the myth of white superiority, Europeans, including European Americans, had to create the myth of black or African inferiority. Europeans saw that only by claiming for themselves that which had been created by Africans could they spread the seeds of black inferiority around the globe. And that they did with such calculated precision that they were able to get the African to reject his own skin, reject his own God. The negative indoctrination of black people by some white Americans reminds one of how elephants are trained. It is said that the elephant trainer starts off training the elephant by putting a large chain around the elephant's neck and pulling on the chain to make the elephant respond to different commands. The elephant trainer uses smaller and smaller chains to get the same responses he had obtained with the more cumbersome chain until finally he is able to use not a chain, but a string. The cumbersome and unwieldy chains of slavery around the world were thrown away after black people had been trained how to respond to alien commands. Many of us are walking around thinking that we have chains on our feet and minds, not knowing that a mere string is keeping us in check. This string is the myth of white superiority and invincibility. What happens when the elephant discovers that a mere string has been stretching between it and independent power? We should all look around ourselves and dare to step beyond the boundaries that have been set for us and our children. Thank you and good evening. You have stated that while we must know this ancient history, we must not allow ourselves to get stuck in the past. You think that we should be about building new Africans. To the extent that you can, give us a profile of this new African man, woman, and child, culturally and psychologically.
Okay, I think that in many ways I've done that. I think that in our discussion over the last few minutes, I have really, by implication, talked about what that person is like. It's a person who is reflective, I think, of the traditional African values. That is, like, concerned about human concerns, concerned about spiritual concerns, concerned about the survival of humanity, concerned about the least among us, and the concerned about bringing justice and order back to the world, concerned about facilitating the tremendous capacity that human beings have to be human, to be civil, to be effective. The new African is one who takes the leadership in that process, developing ideas, developing art, developing culture, developing media, developing technology, developing business, developing management, developing organizations that somehow facilitate the best in human development everywhere, and working for the destruction of oppression every place in the world.
Now, I'm not trying to be funny when I say this.
Okay.
But to a certain extent, many of those characteristics sound like a social worker.
Okay.
All right.
Uh,
Where does that power element comes in that is going to allow us to deal on the national scale and on a global scale?
okay.
All right.
Mhm.
Because what I'm hearing is that here you have a sensitive person.
Mhm.
We have been sensitive, and look where we are.
Mhm.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Can you address
Yeah.
that?
Power is in human dignity. You see, power is in human dignity. That is that, you see, I don't believe then that I should change my values because the world has become barbarian. You see, I think that's a very serious error to assume then that the only way to acquire power is to become as barbaric as the currently
But
powerful.
do you not think that we're out of balance now?
I believe that we're very much out of balance. We're out of balance because we don't have a balanced picture of who we are. We don't understand that we can be humanly sensitive and also politically and economically powerful. We don't understand that somehow we can fight oppression. You know, this is the example I simply gave I gave a few minutes ago about dealing with the racists. That is that we can become warriors and still be humanly sensitive. And I'm saying we have to be both. We have to be willing to fight against oppression wherever it occurs, physically, economically, but also changing the society.
15 seconds. What would you say to the black person who's watching this program with a sense of powerlessness and hopelessness?
Go study yourself. And if you study yourself and know who you are, you'll come to love yourself. Respect for self. Once you love yourself, once you respect yourself, once you know yourself, you will never lie down and accept anyone's authority of your life again.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. Yo, what's going on, Raw? How you doing? Shouts out to you. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to come on like, this late, so I guess it's not gonna be that long or whatever. But I didn't know my brother D Web was gonna go on or whatever. But I'm gonna start going on earlier or whatever. But it is what it is. I had to come on because I'm not gonna be able to do it for a few days. So, I just wanted to come on and show something anyway, and update something that I had talked about before. Yo, what's going on, my brother Rashid? Salute to you, my brother. All right, so I'm gonna just start, and just because it's not as many people right now, and I'm gonna play this. It don't really have nothing to do with the show, but it does. So speaking of, what I'm saying, rap and what's going on, I'm gonna start off with this one. Yeah, I'm sorry for playing this, but it is what it is.
Hey, Utah District 12, listen up right here. There's a new name on the ballot for the Senate this year. My name is Linda Paulson, Republican and awesome. Love
Now, this old racist white lady has started to get into this rap argument. Y'all done talked about it so damn much.
God and family and the Constitution. I tried to get another conservative to run. Nobody could do it, so I'm getting it done. I'm pro-religious freedom, pro-life, pro-police, the right to bear.
Pro-religious freedom. I think she's saying she doesn't want abortion. Pro-life, yeah, there she go. So she's a Catholic who wants to get the government involved in that. She wants the police. She wants to pay the police to get involved in that, to get involved with the society. Right to bear arms. Okay.
Bear arms and the right to free speech. I want less government control.
Now wait a minute. If you support the police is more government. You know what I'm saying? So in a rap battle, she would lose. Getting involved in people's decisions about abortion is kind of more government. Okay.
Regulation want to stop and expose all political corruption where there's integrity, morality, accountability. Government programs should lead to self-sufficiency and support traditional family as the fundamental unit of society.
All right. That's enough. I tried to play that one just to give it some time for people to come in, but I really don't want to do that. But speaking of her, she's probably one of those, one of those average teachers that we send our children out to school, you know what I'm saying? And you notice in her rap, you know what I'm saying? She was what up, Bobby? Bobby, right? Abari, my brother. You notice in her rap, she wants the government to be out of not involved, but she also wants to be in what control what goes on in the schools, you know what I'm saying? And one of the first things that they're doing is this ban on this critical race theory, you know what I'm saying? But they're actually banning it a different way, you know what I'm saying? They're banning anti-racism now, you know what I'm saying? So being anti-racist is banned, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying whether I'm anti-racist or not. I'm just saying for those of us who feel right, all we can do is be anti-racist our way out of it and love our way out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother Listervelt Middleton was asking him, you know what I'm saying? It sounds a lot like a damn social worker, but okay. So they banned anti-racism in Forest Hills Local School.
Or the philosophy typically in law schools referred to as critical race theory.
WCPO 9 News anchor Kristen Swilley joins us with details on last night's decision by the school board and how students and parents are reacting now. Kristen.
Yeah, good morning, guys. We did speak with students, many of whom were behind the school district's diversity day, and they were not pleased at all with the result of last night's vote. But a lot of parents and some board members obviously were. That resolution came down with a 3-2 vote in favor of what they call a culture of kindness resolution. And you can hear some and see some of the reaction from last night. As you can hear there, that decision got a mixed reaction from those who attended last night's meeting, and later some chose to walk out. The resolution bans assignments where students would have to consider their race, socioeconomic class, religion, gender identity, or sexuality. It also states schools can't force individuals to admit privilege or oppression. Parents and students voice their opinions.
You said children cannot say whether they have privilege or oppression, cannot admit it or whatever.
Schools can't force individuals to admit privilege or oppression. Parents and students voiced their opinions with strong feelings on both sides that at times got pretty heated. Board members themselves were even strongly divided on what the resolution would mean on a practical level in the classroom, with those who dissented arguing the language is too vague and could lead to confusion about what's fair game.
We need to be treating everybody as an individual and not lifting some up based on their perception of power and pushing other people down. Shame on you if you
the
say
perception of power. We shouldn't, based off their perception of power. They understand there and all that. We can't be oppressing our little kids because they perceive, they're starting to learn about history and stuff like this. Our kids are having this white guilt, but better yet, this white fear, which they run it off of.
based on their perception of power and pushing other people down. Shame on you if you say we're going to be kind and vote for something like this. That is a slap in the face.
All right. Oh yeah, I forgot. Let me yo, what's going on, Oni? Let me put this in the chat for anybody who want to come on. All right. So, of course, let's go to the next part, Now, this is at a school board meeting here in Ohio. So she's doubling down on the anti-racism curriculum ban. Now, I'm not saying my judgment on this or not, but I'm just showing you, people understand how to protect whatever it is, They don't have to be apologetic about it. They ain't got to be this humanitarian, They're telling you we don't want to be anti-racist,
Specifically says,
Oh my God.
But it specifically says anti-racism is not allowed, so
Okay.
racism.
So to go back to the anti-racism, the reason why I authored this is just to make sure that both sides are always being taught to the students.
Oh my God.
But it specifically says anti-racism is not allowed, so
Okay.
racism.
So to go back to the anti-racism, when we're talking about anti-racism, I know when you look up the definition of it, it says, you know, when you oppose racism. Well, folks, we really want to have an open discussion, but there is no way to have an open discussion with all the chitter chatter and the laughing. I heard what everybody said earlier about the lack of communication. I totally agree with everybody. We can do a much better job communicating. But it isn't funny. We're brand new. It's like drinking from a fire hose. We are trying our best.
He said this is racism stuff is
funny.
brand new.
We're brand new. It's like drinking from a fire hose. We are
They're
trying
drinking
our
from a
best.
fire hose. All right. So, she's pretty much saying like she's banning the anti-racism stuff because both sides, she hit the Donald Trump, there's good people on both sides. But really, I'm playing this because, important thing, because this is the school board, you know what I'm saying? And this is going to be in a city near you, you know what I'm saying? I know in Virginia, it's going to be real soon because they already got the CRT, quote unquote, you know what I'm saying? And they're also going to talk about this now, I'm not telling them whether to be racist or anti-racist. I'm just showing you what you're sending your children into. And I wasn't going to show this sister's video, but this, this Jane Elliott here, you know what I'm saying, says something important. But, I need to see, we need to understand this in our communities, especially in our communities. So let me play this part, you know what I'm saying? Damn, they keep, and I really didn't want to play her video. Let me see. All right, all right. But this is one of the most important parts to hear about this part, you know what I'm saying? So let me play it.
I really want to laugh at her too, but the really scary fact is that there are so many school board members across the country who say shit like that. And the fact is 80% of school board members are white. The average age is 64, and over 60% of them don't have kids in school. There are 90,000 school board members. 1 in 5 elected officials in the country is a school board member, and they are in charge of so much budget, policy, governance, curriculum. Even scarier is the fact that
Now, I wish I didn't have to get Jane Elliott to say this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because, we've been talking about, I got to give my brother Bakari credit because he be talking about this all the time, going to your school board meetings, especially if you have children, but you don't even have to. But, I didn't even realize most of them on these boards, most of them don't even have kids. Some of them do, but some of them don't, But most of them are people who don't look like us, and they're requiring our children to learn. And you see what they're talking about. We got to be both sides of this, But, I'm going to let Jane Elliott speak because y'all ain't going to hear it from me. So,
who say shit like that. And the fact is 80% of school board members are white. The average age is 64, and over 60% of them don't have kids in school. There are 90,000 school board members. 1 in 5 elected officials in the country is a school board member, and they are in charge of so much budget, policy, governance, curriculum. Even scarier is the fact that one of the people making sure that we run crazy people like her is Steve Bannon. He raised $600,000 to start running 50 school board members.
Now, wait a minute. Did you hear that? Steve Bannon raised $50,000 to run how many school board members? I mean to blow up. How many school board members?
Crazy people like her is Steve Bannon. He raised $600,000 to start running 50 school board members.
So this particular person raised $600,000 to run 50 school board members, right? Which is important, especially in certain black areas, you know what I'm saying, with black schools, and how the budget is coming to our schools. You know I went to Richmond Public Schools, where the textbooks, the history books didn't even have the current president in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was in there when I think George Bush, the second one, but it still had Bill Clinton as the president. You know what I'm saying? So, and the book, like 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the books. So, but he raised $600,000 to get 50 school board members, which is interesting.
Crazy people like her is Steve Bannon. He raised $600,000 to start running 50 school board members in 9 swing states across the country, because he knows that white women between the ages of 30 and 50 are involved in their kids' schools. And so if he can push crazy stuff at the school board level, you can push crazy stuff all over this country. And so I want to laugh, but I can't laugh because there's too much work to be done.
Now, which is important, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's the controlling of the children's minds. We're not going to change any of our minds. We think what we think at this point, you know what I'm saying? But, and I'm not saying somebody else, but, at the very least, if you still are sending your kids, you need to be going to the school. Like, I'm with Bakari on that, or either pull them out and send them to a black school or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If that's what it takes, if you don't want them to be indoctrinated. And this is not for everybody. If you're cool with this, then fine. You know what I'm saying? But even still, if you want them to know the truth and not this both sides stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't be like getting mad at that if we're not talking about, you know what I'm saying, how to, raise money to run, like, as a group, you know what I'm saying, raise however much money to run whoever in any kind of district. Because, like, that's the thing, you're going to have to fund your own politicians for you to get into politics, for it to matter on certain levels. You know what I'm saying? And especially in the school board, if you want somebody who can have the power, especially of the community behind them, to control the curriculum for your children, like, I don't even care about their children. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even trying to force nothing on them, but we're going to definitely teach our children the most important things, which is how to budget your money, how to do everything correctly. You know what I'm saying? How to protect yourself, true history, you know what I'm saying? And not just how to be workers, but how to be in control of your own destiny. You know what I'm saying? How, like, give them confidence in science instead of, you know what I'm saying, like black kids saying, oh, I'm not good at science before they even know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
And if you see this woman and think that you could do a better job than her, which you absolutely could, you need to run for school board. And I want to help you. So go to Education Justice Academy, edjusticeacademy.org, and I'll teach you how to run for school board and what you need to do to actually make sure that our schools are just places. And
all right, so yeah, I'm gonna stop it right there. But what up, guy? What up, Harsh Reality Podcast? Yeah, I ain't started too long ago, but yeah, you're not gonna get it. But that's the thing. They are out here, trying to control the education. Well, not trying to, they are controlling it. But what we're saying is, like, yo, you got to be in charge of your children's mind at some point. You know what I'm saying? And stop talking about how we going, what they going. Like, these are like your children, our children. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even have kids in the school system, but I'm down with whatever y'all saying, And it's important for districts that our kids mostly go to have decision makers that have their best interests, not only look like them, but have their best interests at heart. You know what I'm saying? And if we're not willing to make moves where we are, putting our stuff together, you know what I'm saying, to where we funding, even if it's local politicians in your area to start off with, you know what I'm saying, with your neighbors and the people in your community, it's going to be difficult for you to get into the politics, you know what I'm saying? And the most you can do is, like, yo, get with like-minded people and do, like, economic damage and, like, where you shop and where you go. But even then, we don't really do that. So, but, you already know teaching the truth. But that's why it's important for you to learn the truth about history and teach your children the truth about it. And you want them to be able to stand up in class and be like, nah, white bitch, you're lying. You know what I'm saying? Christopher Columbus discovered America. He was a criminal that went to trial. You know what I'm saying? George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, because they try to pass them off as like, pro abolitionists or whatever they try to do. No, they were slave owner, rapists, and all of this, criminals. But that's important. So. All right, so the next thing, I know people felt, however, about that the Little Mermaid thing, you know what I'm saying? So let me share this. So, yeah. Now y'all remember how black kids reacted and stuff like that, right?
She's a black girl. Just like you and me.
She does. She got dreads as well.
It's my hair. I love it, mommy. Like me.
She got lots, Maddie. How do you feel?
Right, y'all remember that? And I know a lot of people felt some type of way about that. And like I said, I can't promote the movie because there's still somebody else controlling that movie. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, they do it to make money but that's why it's important to have representation. You know what I'm saying? And I know Bakari posted a video about a book drive, and he was talking about comic books with black superheroes from black creators and stuff like that. But you see how important, that's the important thing. You see how important that representation is to little children. And first and foremost, if you don't have a positive role model inside your home, then something is wrong, in the words of Dick Gregory. You know what I'm saying? But, of course, seeing black children smile and have a good time makes people feel some type of way. So I don't know if y'all saw this one, but this Asian boy, everybody is mad about this Asian boy. Can't blow it up.
Mommy, she looks like me. She's so pretty, mommy. Look, mommy. She's so pretty. Mommy.
Now you see the the hatred that they have or whatever. What up, Brian EBK? Now I was gonna go in on the whole thing with that, but I ain't even gonna say too much. But the response, but this is like we still surprised that we ain't got no allies, and it's like crazy, And we're still shocked and still trying to explain this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We don't got no friends. I don't understand how we don't understand that at this point. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm gonna kind of skip that. I'm gonna go to the next thing, unless somebody want to say something about that. But that's the usual. All right. So this is like something that I did want to talk about. So a Brooklyn judge, Harriet Thompson, sues court system for reinstatement. Now she got fired. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to say that she was racist. She was being racist and homophobic. You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to play something. Instead of reading it, I'm going to just play it, because it's a lot easier and whatever. So we're going to run this.
A judge.
Back. Now, listen to this dude. But anyway.
A judge, racist, bigoted, made remarks, now is in trouble. Let's put up the picture of this judge. It's a shame.
He said, I think changing characters, race to black and mixed people is pandering, but it don't warrant no extreme responses. Yeah, there was this thing in the 50s, the art of selling to the Negro, you know what I'm saying? Where if you go back and watch it, it's the same methods and the same things apply, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's important that we have these things for our children and for ourselves. Like, let's be real, we want to see movies where we ain't just some killers and shooters and pimps and thugs and prostitutes and stuff, because most of us aren't these things, you know what I'm saying? We want to see superheroes. We want to see regular people in regular movies and all of this stuff, you know what I'm saying? But that's why it's important to like have your own studios, you know what I'm saying, and support them, you know what I'm saying? Because we have our own studios, but is supporting them is the key thing. And then those studios not bowing down to other people, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, when people go out on a limb and do something and say something, far too often we don't have their back, you know what I'm saying? Like with the whole Nick Cannon thing, apologizing to the shysters, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I had a problem with him apologizing, but at the same time, like, he understood, like, yo, black people wasn't going to like make sure that because he started his own thing, you know what I'm saying? He may even get paid off of it, but like with Sharif Abdul Rahim, you know what I'm saying? It's not like black people held him down after all of that stuff went away, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's go to this judge.
That I have to do a segment about a black woman who has decided to become a reflection of her own historic oppressor.
All right, so yeah, Bukhari says black people can be racist. I guess this is what you're talking about, you know what I'm saying?
A New York judge has been suspended last December after allegedly making vile, bigoted remarks and accusations while on the job. I got the receipts. Brooklyn Surrogates Court Judge Harriet Thompson, that's her name. She was suspended with pay in December 2021 after the Inspector General for the state courts substantiated misconduct claims against her. Let me tell you what they are. According to the papers filed by the Office of Court Administration as it seeks to uphold the suspension, Judge Thompson called 4 other judges gay, racist F-words.
She called these old white dudes who's gay and faggots, you know what I'm saying? Now she got fired. It says suspended, but she got fired, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of, being racist, you know what I'm saying? Because it comes with being able to fire somebody. And, she couldn't do that for somebody calling her the N-word, I'm just saying. But anyway.
Who were, and I quote, all effing each other and I quote, trying to ruin me and get me. Judge Thompson, who was elected to a 14-year term in 2018, also said, and I quote, I hate these gay white men. Being gay is an abomination to mankind. She even claimed some judges had to sleep with certain people to get ahead. New York chief.
Now she's saying even the white judges had to sleep with certain people to get to where they are. You know what I'm saying?
Sleep with certain people to get ahead. New York Chief Administrative Judge Lawrence Marks decided to put on the sideline, make her inactive, following the filing. Let me say this very clearly, because there are many who will say, well, she's entitled to her opinion. That is correct. She is entitled to her opinion. She made these statements during office hours. She is a judge, which means when she has an inheritance.
That's Negro, like, yeah, I got to explain this one away, sir. So let me play that.
She took to become a sitting judge in that district. Let's put up the picture of this guy. It was really interesting. So Thompson, who made a bunch of money, $210,000, $211,000 in 2021, according to See Through New York, also allegedly said that she did not like Hispanic people, accusing them of being liars.
Now, she also said whenever she sees it, or she don't like Hispanic people, and she thinks Hispanic people are liars. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they're gonna be like, oh, she's racist. She's right. Well, you know, that's her experience. You know what I'm saying? No, it ain't no problem when they get in there. They talk about we some damn liars, huh?
Hispanic people, accusing them of being liars. Once again, how do you fairly judge a Hispanic person in front of you if you think they all are liars? Get my point? They have a deceitful trait that goes way back to biblical times, she said. The court papers allege, she said, the OCA claimed, Judge Thompson said, that whenever she has a case involving a litigant with a Hispanic sounding name, she assumed the litigant was a liar.
Mm-hmm.
There's more. We got additional information. It goes beyond that. From the appalling comments included, one saying a gay judge was fat now from all of the evil he was doing.
Now, she said one of the judges got fat because all the evil he was doing, like gluttony and all that stuff. But listen to this next part.
From all of the evil he was doing and criticizing a black judge for having blonde hair, the OCA claims. She also allegedly called a black judge a house N-word and a puppet for the white man.
Now, here she is. She's calling out what she thinks is coonage. You know what I'm saying? She said the sister, which I assume is a sister. I hope it ain't a brother with blonde hair. You know what I'm saying? But she said the sister had blonde hair, and she talked about that. But she also called a black judge a house nigga and a puppet for the white man, which is probably true. Like, let's be real. You know what I'm saying? And they're saying, like, yo, you can't be calling out no coons because that's who we hire as judges. You know what I'm saying? We're going to fire your ass for that.
Thompson, who previously served as a civil judge starting in 2011 for a 10-year term, allegedly once said that a female court employee is a prostitute. I think her boyfriend is pimping her. Once again, she's making all of these states on the record during office hours. In December, the IG, Inspector General, referred Thompson's case to New York's Commission on Judicial Conduct, the body responsible for investigating allegations of misconduct against judges and making disciplinary recommendations once their probes are concluded. The CJC's investigations are confidential, so you will not get a view or review of them. She filed a suit in April arguing that Marks and OCA wrongfully suspended her without giving her the opportunity to defend herself. Thompson also claimed that false accusations were made against her by a disgruntled court employee whom she had barred from her cases for alleged misconduct. But
she was probably talking about that blonde haired coon girl, but I don't know. My bad.
Since the CJC's investigations can take at least 2 years, Marks determined that it would not be appropriate for Judge Thompson to continue to preside over judicial matters for the duration of the commission's investigation, according to the court papers. This is an important story to highlight, and we've highlighted racist judges.
We know he want to highlight it. Now listen, yo, Botswana Hagasa. I forgot it. He who can't be touched. Yeah, she sounding all right, you know. Is King Von. But yeah, I don't know what's up with that blonde stuff, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, so the sister, you know, she like, you know, these white judges is up here, you know what I'm saying, sleeping their way with other white dudes, you know what I'm saying, to get to the top. And you know what? If you got a problem with her calling one of them a faggot and not a problem with him doing racist stuff to young black men and stuff like that, because they wanted to, you know, they was like, somebody was probably salty. It was probably that coon lady, you know what I'm saying? It was probably like, you know, she called me a house nigga. She said all this, she said this, she said that, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, most of it is true, you know? And this dude, all he get was, she said it in office hours, you know? But, you know, she was just talking about how they, you know, sleep their way to the top and all this gay stuff these white dudes be doing, you know what I'm saying? and but they fired her, which is the point, you know what I mean, for doing that right away. You know what I'm saying? You know how they always gotta wait or whatever. You know, matter of fact, let me show you like how it is. Just because she put him out there, you know, they had to fire that sister. But you know, so listen, this white town hall judge accused of pulling a gun on a defendant in court. This is office hours for sure. And a white boy pulled it on a black defendant. A white judge pulled it on a black defendant. So let me play this.
Moving doesn't
on.
always move everyone.
Let me stop it real quick. But yeah, oh yeah, it was being unlawfully searched. Okay, I ain't hear about that one. But yeah, let me hold on. All right, hold on. Let me share the screen. Yeah, speaking of that, you know, just a couple weeks ago, Thursday, September 22nd, you know what I'm saying? Well, this was updated today, you know what I'm saying? But this happened a while ago, but this was updated today.
A town judge in Whitehall is accused of pulling a handgun on a defendant while in court. And New York's Judiciary Discipline Panel says he should be removed from his position. The accusations date back to late 2015 or early 2016. Judge Robert Patorti is accused of pulling the gun, later discussing it with other judges, and using some racially charged language.
Now, he pulled the gun in court, you know what I'm saying? Then later talked about it on office hours where he pulled the gun on a black man, called him nigga, and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And this happened 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And let me play it.
When he did all this, according to the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct, Patorti claimed the suspect approached the bench too quickly, prompting him to pull the weapon. Alice Green with the Center for Law and Justice says she would like to know why it took 5 years for the state panel to call for his removal.
It's really frightening to think about it, that he exhibited this behavior 5 years ago, and who knows how long he's been in a situation where he could have affected people's lives. So the 5 years, I wonder what might have happened during that period of time. We don't know, but I know one thing is that we cannot afford to have him there 1 day longer.
Patorti took office in 2014. He's also accused of pulling a gun on someone outside of court who approached him and a relative while assisting in recovering a car that was reported stolen.
All right, so he pulled the gun on somebody else too, you know what I'm saying? And he pulled the gun on this dude in court, you know what I'm saying? But they, after this sister, now she got suspended, then fired for her quote unquote racist and homophobic remarks. You know what I'm saying? I don't know which part was racist, you know what I'm saying, or homophobic, to be honest with you, because if you're sleeping, especially if you're sleeping with other old white dudes, you know what I'm saying, to get to your position, you know what I'm saying, that's what it is. But this white judge, and we already know how it goes, you know what I'm saying, he could pull a burner on the dude in court while it's going on, go talk about it on and off duty, you know what I'm saying, and now at 5 years later, they're just talking about maybe we should do something, you know. But you know, yeah, the black mayor and the cops didn't like that. Mayor Adams is a punk. Okay, yeah. But you know, so pretty much, you know, they after the sister, and she's suing, trying to get her job back or whatever. I'm not sure if she had to get elected for that position, but I guess not, because she got fired. I'm not sure. But you know, I talked about the sister Aramis Ayala in Florida, who was supposed to be the first DA in Florida, and you know how she got when she got pulled over or whatever, you know. And even though she's an elected official, because she goes against, like, you know, the right winger, you know what I'm saying, the kind of white boy thing, you know, they're trying to get her cases taken away from her, even though she's an elected official, you know what I'm saying, and they succeeded too, by the way, you know. But Anyway, so this was another judge, Olu Stevens. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're not familiar what happened to him, now this is a black judge, and this is what happened when somebody called him a nigga in court.
Taking into custody, bonds of 5,000, 10%. You want the bond return to you. I've signed this order here. Once you get it, then we'll take it up. Okay? As soon as you get it, thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now the new year starts. Is there something that you wish to say to me?
No, it's my brother.
Oh, was that to your brother?
Yes,
Because I
sir.
heard you say a racial epithet.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
Oh, you didn't mean it like
No.
that? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to hold you in contempt of court for having said that. And you don't speak those words in here.
Yes,
and
sir.
that word particularly,
Yes,
you
sir.
don't use that word. I'm going to give you 60 days for having used that word. Hold you in contempt right now.
Now, if anybody have done anything about somebody calling them the N-word, he locked this dude up for 60 days. I'm not sure, like, unless you have done anything above that, you know what I'm saying? Now, he locked the dude up, you know?
Now for having done it in this courtroom. It's disrespectful. Don't ever do it again. Thank you, Sheriff. This is, thank you, Ms. Ellis.
Oh, yeah, now lock that white boy up. Now, this judge, Olu Stevens, right? Now, if you're not familiar with him in Louisville, he had a case where it was a black defendant, but there was an all-white jury. So he dismissed the case because he was like, that's not fair to have an all-white jury for a young black man. You know what I'm saying? And they turned around and called him racist and said that he violated him. And the I think it was the district attorney, you know, they forced him to they tried to get him to resign, and they even charged him with ethic violations. So, you know, for not letting a black defendant have an all-white jury. You know what I'm saying?
Local judge has pleaded guilty to ethics violations, but the question at the heart of his controversy is still unanswered. Jefferson Circuit Court Judge Olu Stevens received a 90-day suspension in exchange for pleading guilty to 7 counts. WLKY's Mark Vanderhoff has been following this case. And
now he pleaded guilty now for the crime. His crime was dismissing an all-white jury for a black defendant.
Vanderhoff has been following this case and investigating. Joins us live in the newsroom now. Mark, were we expecting this plea deal?
No, Jennifer, a trial was set to begin today in Louisville in front of the state judicial.
Yeah, I talked about Tracy Hunter before. I had did a video about her.
Ethics Commission. That could have gone on for 2 or 3 days. Instead, the plea deal was announced and everything was over in 10 or 15 minutes. Judge Olu Stevens pleaded guilty to 7 of 8 ethics violations. He will immediately begin serving the 90-day unpaid suspension. Stevens violated judicial ethics by criticizing prosecutors and others on social media and in public comments. He was upset the Commonwealth's attorney challenged his right to dismiss a jury based on racial makeup. And
now, when they said online, he was like saying, yo, this is racist for you to like punish me for dismissing the all-white jury, you know what I'm saying? And he was doing the explain thing, yo, decades of oppression and blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? They like, I'm not trying to hear none of that. Either apologize and bring back this all-white jury, or you're going to get fired, even though it may be an elected position.
In court, Stevens apologized for his comments and recognized the Commonwealth's attorney's right to seek clarification. He spoke to reporters very briefly before leaving.
I just want to, first of all, thank everyone that's come out to support me today. I want to say that I'm delighted to have this over with, move forward, and I'm looking forward to getting back to the bench.
Now, Commonwealth's attorney Tom Wine issued a statement that read, in part, I accept Judge Stevens' apology. I have had no personal animosity towards Judge Stevens, and I have had.
And then this is the Commonwealth attorney, Tom Wine, this white boy. He's like, yeah, I have no personal animosity. I accept his apology. And he was sitting there calling him racist for not letting his brother have an all-black, all-white jury in his court, which I thought was the purpose. And yeah, not only Judge Tracy Hunter, that was interesting one, you know, and a lot of people don't agree, but and she's not a judge, but Marilyn Mosby, you know what I'm saying, in Baltimore, you know what I'm saying? And I know other people got opinions about her or whatever. But yeah, man, I thought that was you know, that sister was definitely interesting, you know what I'm saying? She was sitting there calling it out, and then, you know, you can't call out a coon or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, we losing. I feel you, but we losing that chess too, you know what I'm saying? We definitely losing that chess, and it wasn't a chess move, it was more of a back down move, you know what I'm saying? And also, you know, the black community has to have his back. You know what I'm saying? There should have been like a lot of people didn't know about this case or whatever, but more of us should have had his back too. So, you know, it's not just him, it's all of us. It's a collective effort. You know what I mean? So, all right. So I'm gonna go to the next one. And I had to do this one to update the this case I did. Now, if you go look on my other channel, the Forecast Radio 24, this was the last premiere video I put up on the channel. It had to do with this brother, you know what I'm saying? So if you go over there and check it out, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. It's called
had been taken to the
Anti-Miscegenation. Now, this brother Mark Wilson, who is biracial, you know what I'm saying? And of course they got, you know, restrictions on it and stuff like that. But this whole video is about, you know, miscegenation. And the second part is interesting too, because it showed a brother who, you know, dated a Mexican woman, and then his son dated a kind of white Mexican, and then now his granddaughter looks like a straight Mexican, and he's like the only black one in his family, which is interesting. But I talked about this case, Mark Wilson, you know what I'm saying? And what happened with him is he was riding with his white girl. He was riding with this white girl, whatever. And this white couple rolled up on him talking about Black lives don't matter and calling the white girl a nigga lover, even though he's biracial, right? Because you can't escape it. Yeah. So yeah, you can't escape it. And you know, so they pulled a gun on him, but this, you know, biracial, I'm gonna say brother for this case, you know what I'm saying? He shot back at them, you know, and he killed this little white girl, you know what I'm saying? So let me play some of it to go back to what I did. You know, like I said, you can go back to when I played it, and this was like earlier this year, you know.
Under that same theory of law.
The Ahmaud Arbery case is very much linked to.
Begged the public for information.
Wait.
See tons of.
With this case.
And I just want him home. I just want him home. He doesn't deserve to be in there.
21-year-old William Marcus Wilson has been in a Georgia jail since mid-June. He faces charges of felony murder and aggravated assault for the shooting death of a teenager. His family doesn't deny that he pulled the trigger, but his sister Chelsea Burnett says
and she wasn't no damn teenager too. She was a old ass white bitch. You know what I'm saying? You know, she might have been in her 20s. They trying to make it seem like she was 14 or something. And they was in a damn car talking about some nigga lover, we gonna kill you, Black lives don't matter, all this stuff. So don't let them fool you with the BS.
There's more the system should consider.
He was truly scared for his entire life.
She says her brother feared for his life when he opened fire on a truck of white teens the morning of June 14th. The car's driver was allegedly trying to run Wilson's car off the road, while others yelled racist slurs, according to his sister.
He had a right to stand his ground. He felt like his life was threatened, and I 100% believe that.
A gunshot killed 17-year-old Haley Hutchinson, a passenger in the truck.
Now, this the white bitch who was calling him nigga, and she got smoked because of it.
Burnett questions why her brother, who is biracial, is accused of murder despite his self-defense claim.
School student in Statesboro. His attorneys say they're.
before Mark fired a warning shot. The bullet hit and killed Haley Hutchinson, who was in the truck. Police say the shooting wasn't random. Hutchinson's family say she was a loving girl. Her uncle stressing the importance of forgiveness.
Wait. I have to skip this part.
And revealing new facts in the case. WSAD News 3's Alex Bozargian has this follow-up.
This is just moments after a judge told Marcus Wilson he was dangerous and wouldn't be granted bond.
Speaking of that no cash bail thing that just came out, but see, the judge can determine who is dangerous and who's not, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not necessarily no bond, but they can determine this dude is dangerous, but someone like Kyle Rittenhouse, you know, and I'm only using that because y'all cared about that case instead of another case with a brother, but you know.
In fact, Mr. Wilson's anger appears to have overtaken him. The court finds that the defendant poses a significant threat to persons in the community.
His defense says he was
Seemed
scared
high
the
or
night he
something.
shot Haley Hutchison. Police say she was riding in a car with 4 people at the time of her death. The driver, Mason Glisson, says he didn't see anyone provoke Wilson.
Now, he was one of the white boys who was in the car. Listen to him lying. The judge seemed high as hell. But
What my pastor did, but I do not see for him to do or say anything.
Detectives say Wilson's girlfriend, who was riding in the car with him during the shooting, told a different story.
She stated that the guys in the truck were hanging out the window, throwing hands all kinds of ways, flipping them off, and swerving at them. She stated,
now they was swerving at them, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to run them off the road. And like I said, go back and watch the whole thing because I went through the whole case, you know what I'm saying?
it kind of looked like they were trying to run us off the road, but I don't know. Mark told Emma that he had heard them say racial things, like calling him the N-word.
Glisson testified that the group had been drinking before their run-in with Wilson. Police say the defendant told
Now this fat white boy just said we was drunk driving, even though he got on court lying.
them something was thrown at his car. Detectives found a beer can in the area of the shooting that they say matches the brand the group was drinking.
Found beer cans out the window and all that. And this is another white boy who was in the car. I think he may have been the shooter. Or had a gun or something like that.
Wilson's girlfriend did tell police Wilson was angry and she told him not to shoot his gun. The case is expected to go to trial before the end of the year. Alex Bozar.
Now, I don't know if y'all heard that last part because now his white girlfriend, you know what I'm saying, jumped up in the equation and actually testified and heard him in the trial, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. I'm trying to find the part where she testified.
And community events for months now, getting people's room. Video showing Bullock County passengers of the truck, Luke Connolly, he was actually charged with obstruction as well after investigators said that he kept changing his story about Haley Hutchinson's death. We also learned
She kept changing the story about what happened. That's another thing.
From an investigation from the local news outlet WTOC 11 that Connolly was charged with DUI and a hit and run 1 month before Hutchinson was killed. Also, just some weeks ago, there was some drama in the courtroom. Video showing Bullock County Judge Michael Muldrew holding Wilson's attorney Francis Johnson in contempt of court. Turns out Johnson refused to give back a binder of evidence to the judge that was given to him by accident. Johnson just wanted this exchange to be noted in court records. The judge refused and threw him out of court. In response to all of this, Johnson filed a motion to recuse Judge Muldrew from this case. Now things are on hold right now as we wait for a decision on that recusal and when these court hearings for Mark Wilson will continue.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the part where she testified against him, but I can't find it right now. Let me see. Because she was in the court changing up her damn story. Had to be somewhere right here.
Before Mark
enforcement and other legal establishments.
Now, this is his parents here. This is his mom. Well, you know, white bitches can have black children, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying, man, like, you can't escape the blackness here. You know what I'm saying? and he still got caught up, called the N-word lover, all of that. You know what I'm saying?
However, today, I believe
Night about a
and wouldn't be granted bond. Vote Wilson.
have
They good have to have consequences. I don't know where I don't know where it is, but this is her. It's not going to it. Here it is. This is his girlfriend right here.
White girl.
Yeah, so this is his girlfriend testifying in court, you know what I'm saying? And she's walking back what she was saying, you know. At first it was, you know, we gonna do this, like they was calling us N-word, calling her an N-word lover, but then she said, yo, he could have left, he could have not fired, you know what I'm saying? She didn't think it was self-defense, you know. So she was the one that hurt his case, you know what I'm saying? But let me play this part with her family crying, you know what I'm saying? Because we got to see that, you know.
Legal team says he and his girlfriend were returning from a late-night trip for fast food when a group of people in a truck started following them.
Yelling phrases like, your lives don't matter.
Francis Johnson says witnesses saw his client's car nearly run off the road before Mark fired a warning shot. The bullet hit and killed Haley Hutchinson, who was in the truck. Police say the shooting wasn't random. Hutchinson's family say she was a loving girl, her uncle stressing the importance of forgiveness.
There can be mercy, there can be forgiveness, but justice has to be served.
Now, see, I named this show this, you know what I'm saying? You see, they're not up there hugging the person. You know what I'm saying? Even if he brought up the word forgiveness. Did you hear what he said? It's no love. It's no none of that. It could be mercy. It could be forgiveness, but there must be justice.
Her uncle stressing the importance of forgiveness.
There can be mercy, there can be forgiveness, but justice, it has to be served.
But during a virtual news conference Monday, Mark's mom, Amanda, defended her son.
Had the roles been reversed and Mark not reacted the way he did, we would be mourning the loss of 2 lives, and it would be his and
Well, apparently
his girlfriend's.
Mark's father, a fire chief, says the family are law-abiding citizens.
damn fire
we all
chief.
trust in law enforcement and other legal establishments. However, today, I believe that trust has been broken.
Mawali Davis,
All right. Well, yeah, man, I wanted to show her testifying. I can't find it right now, but you know, maybe later. But anyway, you know, so recently, you know, they updated that case. Yeah, she definitely dry snitched, and she definitely like got on that code, you know. And so recently they came to the verdict and they ended up sentencing the brother to 10 years, you know what I'm saying, for smoking that little white girl who deserved it, by the way. Don't run up on us talking about some N-word, my life don't matter. He feared for his goddamn life and he did acted appropriately, you know what I'm saying? And they sentenced him to 10 years.
10 years in prison. That's how long a judge sentenced Mark Wilson.
That is the maximum sentence allowed after a Statesboro jury convicted Wilson last month of involuntary manslaughter in the shooting death of Haley Hutchinson. We turn now to our Nakai Carrera. She's live outside the courthouse. Nakai, you have covered this trial from the beginning.
That's right, Greg. I've been here since jury selection to the guilty verdict and now sentencing. Judge Ronald Thompson sentenced Mark Wilson right before 5 o'clock to the maximum of 10 years. Wilson was found guilty back on August 31st.
To the maximum of 10 years.
Of involuntary manslaughter for the shooting death of 17-year-old Haley Hutchinson. Wilson was out on bond during the trial until he was found guilty.
Now, this was the little white girl riding in the car talking about, you damn nigger, your life don't matter, you nigger, you know what I'm saying, all of this stuff. And now she's, oh yeah. You know they're going to find the best pictures of her. They're not going to show her, you know what I'm saying, smoking all the weed or as drunk as she was because, you know, they was drunk driving. They just got caught up with a hit and run. They trying to run them off the road, you know what I'm saying, and they sentenced him to the strictest thing that they can sentence him to, you know what I'm saying.
Found guilty. The defense team spoke to us about the conviction.
Our task was very clear, and that was to stop illegal lynching. This DA Like many runaway DAs across the state, Daphne Totten is no different from a Jackie Johnson, wanted Mark Wilson's life. And despite the verdict today, despite the sentence today, she will not have it. Mark Wilson will have a life, and I'm grateful for that.
And to see him get,
Man, he got 10 years for defending himself. And then he's talking about, yo, we didn't want to see illegal lynching. You know what I'm saying? Man. And I feel you, but 5, 6, 4, I don't care how many. He shouldn't be doing a second. Because, like, why are they running up on him anyway? You know what I'm saying?
For that.
and to see him get 10 years, I think, well, you know, this young man, he's never been in trouble. Yeah.
Never been in
Mr.
trouble.
Dawson, I think y'all did a records check, correct?
Yes, sir.
There was nothing found on this young man. This is a young man who, again, look at his family. Look at his family from Charleston, South Carolina, all over. Right. We're very thankful. We thank this team and know that we.
Even this white bitch here could not say it. And this is not to be rude or nothing or mad or, you know, say it in a negative way or nothing. But you cannot escape your blackness, bro. I would rather my kid look like me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that biracial people are black, but what I'm saying is you cannot escape, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us do this, and I'm not saying he did or nothing. He just has the kind of characteristics that you can kind of line up, you know what I'm saying? This self-hatred thing, and you think that lightening your skin by going to somebody else is going to save you. It will not. It will not. The only thing will save you will be to stand up for yourself and what you look like and be proud of that. Be proud of what you look like.
We will continue to fight.
Nakai, what about his time served?
Greg, he has already served 682 days in jail for this case.
So he's already been in there almost 2 years already. Right? So he's already did almost 2 years while being held during the trial because there was no bail because the judge called him dangerous. Even though they were swerving, trying to run him off the road, they said he was the one that was dangerous. But he's already been in there for 2 years.
That time served will be put towards his 10-year sentence. Greg?
Nakai Guerrero reporting live. Thanks so very much.
Now, I don't know if they're going to let him off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. All right. But yeah, I definitely had to update that case. You know, I'm going to go on to the next thing. I'm going to put the link in the chat one more time. All right. So the next thing, I already talked about this a little bit before, you know what I'm saying? But and I might not even mention it no more because, you know, it's just beating a dead horse at this point. But let me show you another one, another Thompson, but the opposite. All right, so this white bitch here, I'm confident the U.S.-Ghana relationship will continue to grow stronger, says this white bitch here. So British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, says she is assured that the relationship between Ghana and the United Kingdom will continue to get better, even after passing of y'all Queen Elizabeth, the whatever the fuck she was. According to her, the two countries under the leadership of King Charles, y'all King, will consolidate and deepen the bilateral ties. All right, so y'all being under King Charles leadership, and I'm sure it's more than just, you know, Ghana. You know, I'm pretty sure it's the other territories under the leadership of y'all King Charles. So yeah, man. Y'all get it, man. Y'all get it, you know. And So let me just go ahead and play the next video. So this was going on in Ghana of March after y'all queen passed away. I don't know what is going on here, but I mean, listen, man. The colonized mindset that we have is just, is just sick. But I'm gonna just move on to the next thing here. All these things keep happening. So yeah, let me play this. So speaking of y'all queen, and this is what this British chick said, because she's upset that y'all that some of y'all are upset. You know what I'm saying? She thinks y'all should be doing what the rest of them do. We should have all been a part of that march, and they're appalled that some of us are laughing and and some of us are saying, like, give me my jewel back. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, that's the act of war. You know what I mean? But let's hear what this original white bitch had to say.
You have all of this vast wealth. Those are legitimate concerns.
Well, I think you're right about reparations in terms of if people want it, though, what they need to do is you always need to go back to the beginning of a supply chain. Where was the beginning of the supply chain? That was in Africa. And when the...
Now, I know a lot of y'all talking about this movie. I think that's what she's getting at here. She said, before you talk about reparations from Britain, you know what I'm saying? Because I think, she's talking about the countries that's talking about reparations from them. You'll hear what she had to say.
To go back to the beginning of a supply chain. Where was the beginning of the supply chain? That was in Africa. And when across the entire world, when slavery was taking place, which was the first nation in the world that abolished slavery? The first nation in the world to abolish it. It was started by William Wilberforce, was the British. In Great Britain, they abolished slavery. 2,000 naval men died on the high seas trying to stop slavery. Why? Because
yeah, but like, I don't know how many thousands was on there still trying to capture people.
The African kings were
if that's true, because I'm not sure if that's true, by the way. I've never heard of it.
Rounding up their own people. They had them on cages waiting in the beaches. No one was running into Africa to get them. And I think you're totally right. If reparations need to be paid, we need to go right back to the beginning of that supply chain and say who was rounding up their own people and having them handcuffed in cages. Absolutely. That's where they should start. And maybe, I don't know, the descendants of those families where they died in the high seas trying to stop the slavery, that those families should receive something too, I think, at the same time.
So not only that, the white boys, the 2,000 white boys need to get reparations. Not you. You need to go back to those other Negroes that sold you, you know what I'm saying, and get reparations from them, not from no Britain. Right? And by the way, because they limited to like from 1619 to like the 1800s, and that's like half of the time, you know what I'm saying? It was from the 1400s at the very least, right? And Britain certainly got in there pretty early, well, early enough. And even if they didn't have themselves established, they definitely dabbled. But she's telling you to go get it from, those other Negroes, you know what I'm saying? And you need to bow down because this white bitch has done way more for you. I mean, y'all get the mindset. But, I know a lot of us are talking about that now since, like, that movie came out and Black people selling each other. And that's a whole other thing, you know what I'm saying? And if you're going to talk about it, like, you got to get into the details. You're going to have to tell me tribes when, where, you know what I'm saying, which nation, leader, or tribe did it, and what time period was it. And, you know, that'll have to be a whole discussion. But so we're gonna move on to this last thing here. And I know this thing keep playing. But I have to show, you know, I don't know if this is true or not, but it says the only African king who refused to bow to Queen Elizabeth. Y'all would know better than me, but I'm gonna just play some of it.
The African king who refused to bow to Queen Elizabeth and chose suicide instead. Atta Ame Oboni was a revered Igala king. In a meeting held in Kaduna, which hosted all paramount traditional rulers in Nigeria and which had the Queen of England in attendance, Atta Ame was forcefully asked to take off his cap to greet the Queen of England, as others had done. Some say he was also told to shake the Queen, but this was a taboo for the king. Atta was not like the others and would not follow suit. It was taboo for Atta to remove his cap in the public. As he took off his hat, the entire hall was completely filled by a swarm of bees, which emanated from the cap of Atta Ame Oboni, as he removed it in order to greet the Queen. The Queen of England and the other rulers in the meeting ran helter-skelter, except for the friendly Oba of Benin, who was asked by Atta Ame to go out before he removed his cap. The hall became empty as some were stung by the bees, and the meeting ended. According to history, Atta Ame Oboni was asked to be arrested and handcuffed by the security people, which they did, but the handcuffs fell off his hands. He was later locked up in a room on the instruction of the northern rulers and guarded by the security personnel, but only to find out later by the personnel that he had left the room. Yeah, I'm as shocked as you are. When the security was taking him to be locked up, he told his driver, Amanabo of blessed memory, to take the car to Ida while the security locked him in the room. He then warned Amanabo not to look back until he felt a cool breeze in the car.
All right, yeah, so I'm gonna stop it there, you know, but, you know, I just wanted to give some semblance of not bowing down because, we do an awful lot of that, you know what I'm saying? An awful lot of bowing down and an awful lot of standing up for everybody, you know, but ourselves. And, you know, it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just sick, you know what I mean? The mindset that we have, you know, and wanting to be a part of other people's stuff, you know what I'm saying? And trying to force ourselves, you know what I'm saying? But we understand how they see, how they feel, how they think, you know. They not only want their kids to be protected, they want our kids to stay in the position that they're in, you know what I'm saying? So that, you know, the grandchildren, which is the kids today of the group who is banning the critical race theory, or the grandkids who was going against the, you know, with the whole integration. And to me, I think integration was a move by them. You know what I'm saying? I know people say black people fought for it, but I really think it was a counter move by other people, not necessarily us. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But, you know, we just keep trying to be a part of things. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I was going to stop it there, but I might as well just show these last ones. But, you know, speaking of trying to be a part of something, you know, and down in Georgia, you know, Bakari had showed me this video. I was going to show it last time, but, you know, the sister going to the bar, you know, getting harassed by these white boys, you know.
In this video, we show.
Hold on, I got the wrong one. All right.
What are you talking about? And you're not talking to me. You are not talking to me. No, you're not. You are not talking to me. So come with it. I'm going to sit here. I'm gonna box my food and I'm gonna finish my food and then I'll leave. That's okay with me, baby. I got a lot of money in my account. I asked her to turn it down and she got snappy with me and she just threw a whole box at me. I come up here and I play pool all the time. So all the time. She did just throw that box at me, sir. Period. I'm in a white place like this because I came up here to play pool. This is the only place with a pool table in the vicinity. So that's what I'm doing in a white place. That's what I'm doing in a white place. That's what I'm doing in a white place. That's what I'm doing in a goddamn white place. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. But guess what? Because I can come out and spend my money how I want to. You taking our comment very offensive. Of that. Really snazzy. Period. I took it there. I know you racist. You look like a racist. But that's why you're poor. Most racist people are poor.
All right. Now, that's not true. Most racist people are not poor. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the racist people who have controlled the generational wealth, you know what I'm saying, by using their quote unquote racism, which is just making sure that you and your family are good first, you know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. And in some cases, like we would say, only making sure that we are good, and whatever you have to do to make sure that that is done, you know what I'm saying? Because this weakness, this wanting to be accepted, and I'm not saying, because this sister stood up, you know what I'm saying, and it's important that we have creators, you know what I'm saying, for Black children to create, movies for them, so we putting the money still in our communities. It's important to have, bar, restaurants, diners, pool halls, all of these things like that we want to do and have it in our community. And the difference is today there is the illusion of inclusion, and that's something different that we definitely have to solve, you know what I'm saying? And we try to be a hero for everybody else, you know what I'm saying? And we always gotta go, well, I'm gonna be the first one to get on Black people just to show everybody else, we're fair. The world is not about fair. It's not about good and bad, right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? The real world is just the real world. It is what it is, you know what I'm saying? And when people violate you, there must be consequences. And that's why whenever they feel violated, they make sure that there are some kind of consequences. If a sister who is a judge call them out and tell the truth, she can't do that. There has to be consequences. But see, there's no consequences if a judge pull a gun out on somebody in court and call him a nigga. See, there has to be consequences if a judge won't let it be an all-white jury. Or if all of these sisters in the court and the judicial system try to get off the quote unquote code of the politics that they like to keep in their courtroom, is a problem. But if you don't create your own institutions and start with businesses, but institutions is very important, you know what I'm saying? And to circle your dollars, because you see people in other groups and other organizations. That's just Steve Bannon. Imagine that 38,000 that we talked about earlier, that white gang, that one white gang, that's 38,000 strong that they know about, with judges and cops and all of that on there. You don't think that they're putting their money together to put school boards, police chiefs, to put all of these things in office? And more importantly, when you get to that level where you start talking about national stuff, you know what I'm saying? See, these are politicians who are funded by corporations. And most of the time, corporations that got their start, their blessings and their, whatever, off their blood, sweat, and tears. And we still sit here and try to explain it to them why they shouldn't be doing what they're doing. But, as long as we have this cape on and we try to save everybody but ourselves, we're going to continue to get the same results. You know what I'm saying? And listen, man, this Black veteran here, you know what I'm saying, who disarmed somebody and he got arrested. you know what I'm saying, trying to help and trying to save people, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying to not try to stop a mass shooter or whatever, but listen, you know, he was a veteran. You know, because like when I talk about, you know, with the Olympics, you know, how we go play for every other country, you know what I'm saying? Every country, and they thrive off of, especially in sports, they're Black players. But we also go to war for all of these same countries, and we talk about my country. And they don't see it as my country. Because I talked about the slaughterhouse cases before, you know, because they talk about the 13th Amendment. Everybody knows about that, you know, except for punishment for a crime. But not too many people mention the involuntary servitude. But a lot of people say the 14th Amendment also made Black people citizens, but the slaughterhouse cases, you know what I'm saying, it overturned it. You know, it made it a states' right issue. That's why they still be talking about states' right stuff. You know what I'm saying? Federally, you aren't protected by the 14th Amendment, by the Constitution. And all of these things on top of that says persons. But everything in their laws, in their court rulings, says you are not a person. It says you are 3/5 of a human, and they don't have to respect any of your rights. They naturally aren't bound to respect any of your rights. And none of this stuff has been ever overturned in the court of law. But the slaughterhouse cases itself, if you look it up, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it was over, you know, disposing of stuff in like the water. And if you look at it, it made private businesses, private citizens, and more businesses have sued under the 14th Amendment than Black people. Because it made businesses private citizens. Businesses are persons. And it's up to the state whether to enforce, you know what I'm saying, how they do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just based off the slaughterhouse. So it pretty much overturns it, you know. And like I said, like I have to get, you know, deep on the whole thing on that's something else, you know. But this is who we stand up for. This is who we fight for. We fight for everything but ourselves. And it's sick, you know what I'm saying? And how easily we say the queen, the king, and we're not talking about somebody from one of ours. Because when we are talking about somebody from one of ours, there's more people out there to discredit that person. No matter who it is, there's always somebody out there to discredit them. But yo, that's the mindset. That's why they understood that, you know, if you can control the minds of the children, it's easier to teach a child how to be a slave than it is somebody who has known freedom. But in the same token, if you can get control of your child's mind and teach them freedom, they'll never go back to being a slave again. Understand how important it is for your children's minds, you know what I'm saying? And to build your own institutions and to be able to protect these judges who try to stand up and go within the system to fight it, you know what I'm saying? But let me tell you something, you can't take the root out of something and expect the same thing to still be there, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, like if you take the roots out of a tree, the tree is going to die. And it's not about any particular person, it's about the way a system operates. And you can't take any chances with that, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, as long as we fighting for other systems instead of, you know, just taking simple steps to create, because it doesn't take no super radical stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's just having the right mindset day to day, making small choices which add up to the big choices. It's not looking towards the end, because to be honest, we may not ever see it, you know what I'm saying? Maybe our grandkids that see it, maybe our children. We may see it when we get old. But you gotta have the mindset of a generational thing, yo. You gotta play the long game, because that's one thing that other people are playing is the long game, and we haven't got caught up with the short game. We worried about the new world order, and we haven't even figured out the old world order yet. and we trying to explain it to everybody else. It's crazy. But man, yeah, I appreciate y'all for listening, man. And you know what I'm saying? You got to remember, man, look, there can be mercy, there can be forgiveness, but justice must be served at the end of the day. And you have to understand that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to let this brother here finish us off with the last word. All right, my bad.
If you've seen most of this series, I'm sure you understand how the creation of two myths, two lies, produced much of the problems we face concerning black-white relations. For in an effort to create the myth of white superiority, Europeans, including European Americans, had to create the myth of black or African inferiority. Europeans saw that only by claiming for themselves that which had been created by Africans could they spread the seeds of black inferiority around the globe. And that they did with such calculated precision that they were able to get the African to reject his own skin, reject his own God. The negative indoctrination of black people by some white Americans reminds one of how elephants are trained. It is said that the elephant trainer starts off training the elephant by putting a large chain around the elephant's neck and pulling on the chain to make the elephant respond to different commands. The elephant trainer uses smaller and smaller chains to get the same responses he had obtained with the more cumbersome chain until finally he is able to use not a chain, but a string. The cumbersome and unwieldy chains of slavery around the world were thrown away after black people had been trained how to respond to alien commands. Many of us are walking around thinking that we have chains on our feet and minds, not knowing that a mere string is keeping us in check. This string is the myth of white superiority and invincibility. What happens when the elephant discovers that a mere string has been stretching between it and independent power? We should all look around ourselves and dare to step beyond the boundaries that have been set for us and our children. Thank you and good evening.
And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.